Yeah, it will be streamed in YouTube as usual, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Good.
Sir, we are live, sir. You can start.
Okay, okay.
Nice.
All right, I'll go first. Uh, Hello, everyone. People who are logged into the Zoom meeting here, as well as people who are watching us live on YouTube, as well as uh, hello to people who are watching this recording as part of our Tech Forecasting for Strategic Decision Making course. This is a 4-week course, and we are in the second week, into second week this week. So this is our typical format. That is, in second week, we have a session, which is right now. And then at the end of the 4th week, we'll have another live session just before your exams, for people who have signed up for the exams, we will have another session, maybe 10 days or a couple of weeks before the final exam. So these are the planned 3 sessions. These sessions, why are they? Professor Dmitry and I, supported by Sham and Sukrat, who are the teaching assistants for this course, we want to support you via the discussion forum, as well as give you synchronous support in answering your questions. That's our first responsibility. The second is to also clarify some things in the course that we felt we can do also via the live sessions, emphasize on some things that we find important for if you take it up as a discipline, technology forecasting as a discipline, how to make things better, which are the points that you should pay attention to. From our own experience, we will cover that. Based on your reactions and questions, we might also give you some supplement material, supplement videos, or supplement, I don't know, depends on what you ask us. So that's the, let's say, the bigger picture of why these live sessions and how this course is. So at any time at all during this session, synchronously from 12:30 to 1:30 India time, if you have any questions, use the chat on Zoom, or we'll also be watching the YouTube chat space. You can also use that to ask your questions, comments, suggestions, anything. You can just put it there, and we'll be happy to look at it and respond to it. If you're watching this as a recording, also go to the discussion forum and post your questions. So that will help us identify, to tell you where you can focus on. Okay. So with me, I'm being joined by Dmitry Kucharavy, Professor Dmitry Kucharavy. Say hello, Dmitry. Let me
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you to have me with you today. And as Professor Bala Ramadurai already said, we are here to answer your questions, okay? Because we feel that when you study in your rhythm, what is already suggested on the website, it's a good idea to answer any question that you will see relevant to your study, to your interest about technology forecasting for strategic decision making. By the way, as we prepared also something that we would like to introduce you in advance, if we don't see too many questions from your side, but we strongly believe that you work hard already. You already have your questions, and we are here to support you on your way to learn about technology forecasting. That I would like to. I really enjoy your idea to follow this course, because most of the people, they don't really believe that forecasting is possible, especially technology forecasting. And as soon as you are here, you are already on board for people who know that even it is hard, it is possible. We just need to know how. Okay. Now I'm speaking with you from Strasbourg. Strasbourg, this is in France, in business school here in Strasbourg, and where I'm teaching this course and other courses about supply chain.
Okay. I would like to introduce Shyam also, who is in the meeting. Shyam is our teaching assistant for the course. If you have, between the four of us, Professor Dmitry, myself, Shyam and Sukrat, we'll be happy to answer any queries, any suggestions, respond to any suggestions, anything at all. We are happy to respond and help you in any which way we can. So I'll just add Shyam to the spotlight. Say hello, Shyam.
Hi all. Hi learners. Hello Professor. Hello Professor Dmitry.
Hi, Shyam.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So, so do you have the list of questions, right, Shyam? So this is
Yes.
how we
Yes.
keep it so that we're all engaged in this activity. We keep it sort of like a discussion. So we'd be happy if the learners also participate. That's the core idea of this session. So if you have any questions, put it down in the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask like a regular classroom session or a discussion forum kind of a session, we'll be happy to take your questions. Just unmute and ask your question, and be happy to answer them as well. So, Shyam, do you want to lead
Yeah.
that with the question?
Yes. Mm,
Yeah, we can see a screen.
okay. So the basic introduction are done. I think we can skip this part.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll go over once again. So Dr. Bala Ramadurai is the author, coach, consultant, and a professor. And apart from technology forecasting, he also offers one more course called Design Thinking, a primer, both in the NPTEL as well as the IIT Madras BS degree program. He has a PhD from Arizona State University, USA, and BTech from IIT Madras. Also, another instructor in this course is Dr. Dmitry Kucharavy. He has spent 25 plus incredible years at several companies, institutes, answering tough engineering problems, ranging from flat screen to steam oven design. He is also one of the pioneers in introducing the knowledge of TRIZ, which is uh, it's a Russian word. We'll find it in the course in the week 3, I hope so. And its method in South Korea, France, Italy, and Mexico. I am Sham, one of the teaching assistant in this course. There is one more teaching assistant whom you may want to reach out to, which is Sukrat. We'll help you with the basic operational queries in the course. Say like you want to know about the hall ticket, when it will be issued, when is the exam, what type of questions it will be. We'll help you answer that. We would now move on to the question and answer session. And there was one question from Sushil Bari. And I hope he is in the meeting also. If you can unmute and ask the question, that would be better.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yes. Mr. Sushil Barik, do you want to just explain what your question is so that people who are watching this as a YouTube recording will get a little bit more detail?
Okay.
Okay, guess not. Okay.
Okay. His question is this course technology forecasting for strategic decision making relevant to the field of commerce, management, students, if at all they want to pick it up for their future career? Over to you, Professor Bala and Professor.
I'll take this first, and then I'll invite Professor Dmitry to give his point of view also. The answer is it depends. So this is not a concrete answer probably you were looking for, but I would say the main focus of our course in technology forecasting is a business atmosphere where we are addressing business problems. And inside that, in the core of that is the technology part. So the example in one of the videos that you probably have looked at is the vacuum forming machine. So the business issue was that, do I renew the contract, annual maintenance contract for that machine or not? So that's a business decision because it has a lot of money riding on it, right? And you're stuck with it for the next 10 years, let's say. So then it becomes, okay, is this technology going to be there for 10 years or not? And then you start looking at the technology, and then you do your analysis, you do your studies, and then you come out with an answer saying that, oh yes, it is going to be there for 10 years at least. That's our prediction, I'm sorry, a forecast. So we are going to look at it and be ready with it. So the idea is not to see whether it's the prediction is true or not, but to be ready with the output of the results, output of the study itself. So the focus is entirely on understanding the technology, understanding the business climate around the technology, and then looking at the future, because the future, as Professor Dmitry explained in his video on strategy, tactics, and operation, strategy is one of the murkiest and one of the most difficult parts to observe. And that's why you need these techniques to really understand, clarify where things are going with this. So if your career choice or your passion lies with trying to understand technology, but in a context of business, I guess somewhere there is your question. Then this would definitely excite you because it has elements of both. Just forecasting technology for the sake of it, it works. But what is it for? If you don't know, then you need to understand that as well. So that's the second part of that question itself, right? So you need both sides of it to make informed decisions. So this is my trial. Over to you, Professor Dmitry, if you have any insights that you want to share.
Yeah, and I'd like just to, in fact, I'm going to repeat what Professor Bala said, but I try to be a bit more concise, okay? So the course is really relevant for commerce and management domain, to my mind. Why? Because in commerce and management, we are working on the value chain, okay? We are trying to design our value chain and try to suggest them to our clients, to our customers. When management, this is planning, checking. But we forgot that before planning, we have some ideas about future, because how can we plan? How can we plan if we have no idea? So intentionally or not intentionally, we forecast. What do we suggest within this course? Do it, intentionally and consciously. Make a study in order to build your plan to arrive to the not only efficiency but effectiveness. Your ideas, what is valuable on your market, will be well educated before you will be engaged and you will spend your money on it. So that's why, to me, this is really very relevant, and for your career also, because when you are reliable with your forecast, you can choose even for yourself which direction to go. It was my trial to put light on this question. We have a hand which is raised. Probably we need to listen. Anil Kumar.
First of all, thank you, Professor Ramadurai and Professor Dmitry, for taking out time for this session. Some background, okay. First of all, thank you for taking out time for this great learning session for us. And thanks, Syam, for organizing this session. To be very precise, I am basically a technology cum lawyer. I did my PG from IIT Delhi in the chemical engineering, and then I went into the space of patent management system for the last almost 10 years. And I heard about the concept of trees 2 years back when I was working with one Pune-based startups. I closely work with the startups. So I was working in a very Pune-based startup, but then I realized that how trees is very important if we really come up with a very strong patent management system, I mean to say that before drafting the claim, all these things. Sir, probably my question is that because, to be very honest, I'm a very beginner for this technology forecasting and trees. I just started understanding this concept since last week. I mean to say that thanks to NPTEL for accepting my request to run with this course. My question is that how the trees is really going to help me as a patent professional to help the startup in Indian industries to bring a very evergreen technology concepts, because we see that a lot of issues. Some second is that uh, uh, sir, do you really suggest that I can pursue this very seriously from as a level of beginner to the advanced? So this is my two probably the point. I may be I'm not sure that whether I have conveyed my question correctly and precisely or not, but this is something which came in my mind and thought to just express my thought to both of you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Mr. Anil. Yeah, understood. Do you want to take a first stab at it, Professor Dmitry?
Yeah, let me try. First of all, I'd like to make clear that within this course, the trees is not used so much. If I put some figures, okay, it's 20% of trees and 80% which comes from other domains. Okay. What we really use from concept, from theory of inventive problem solving, do more with less. Okay. We also took some concept how to define the system, because this is essentially very important to define system properly. Most of the forecasts, they fail not because they use not correct methods or they use methods not properly. They do use methods properly, but when system is not defined properly, we try to forecast something which is not relevant for the future. So in body of our course, especially first 2 weeks, we spent a lot of time to help you to define your system. Function, system, subsystem, this is what we are talking with. This is to prepare you for the essential part of the course. And the essential part of the course, this is using a quantitative study, which is not part of the trees at all. Quantitative study, logistic S-curve, and logistic substitution model, we just introduced them a little, okay, in order to have reliable idea about future. Reliable, I mean measurable. We know from the management science, if you don't measure, you don't manage. In order to plan and in order to check your planning, in order to really manage your situation, you need to measure. So this is core of our course, if you like, but it's more at the end, because once again, what is a concept that we took from trees, we try to define our system properly, try to understand our system properly. So if you are looking about trees in this course, you'll be a bit disappointed because we have just a little about theory of inventive problem solving here, but what we have a lot about logistic substitution model and logistic model. This was my trial to make clear for your question. Is it okay like this for you?
Thank you. I think yes. So Professor Dmitry, probably if you can permit, I can just pose one another. Suppose if I wanted to learn in depth manner about the trees, so where do I really get those information? Because when I'm trying to put it something on the Google, I'm getting a lot of information. It's very difficult to abstract and assimilate the right correct information. So probably if you can just help it out, it would be great help.
Yeah, my answer will be really strange to you. I do recommend you to read the book of Professor Bala about design thinking.
Okay.
I'd like to make clear why. There is a part about trees, but it is not suspended part. It is well integrated in the process. How do we develop new things? Because when you meet a trees people, okay, what they usually tell you, they tell you about contradictions and about many things, but this is not embedded into the context of developing of new products. Okay. What I do appreciate from the book of Professor Bala, he used properly, okay, some part of trees, not all trees, but he suggested how to use, but it is clearly explained how it is implemented into the process of new product design. If you'd like to be practical, I do recommend you this book. If you'd like to grow just your knowledge about body of trees, the best way is to buy a book, Algorithm of Innovation. Even the title of the book is translated not properly. This is Algorithm of Invention, okay? But you can learn from this book really essential things. Even it is a quite old book, okay? It comes from the author of the trees. But to be practical, I do recommend you design thinking with a part. How do we connect contradictions? Okay, this was my answer for today.
Okay, I'd like to add something here. Thank you so much, Professor Dmitry. Coming from you, a recommendation like that means a lot to me. Thank you so much first. TRIZ is very useful in solving problems and designing around patents, which is what I guess your origin of the question was. So I find it extremely useful in that context, but you have to be really to connect it to tech forecasting, and I agree with Professor Dmitry that we use very little in the technology forecasting context because the time element is something that's mentioned, but you have to be deep into trace to really get to that part, is my opinion. My personal opinion is you have to spend years before you can even get to that part. You have to be really conversant with the rest of the theory because otherwise it's going to be like kids playing with knives, right? So it's not recommended to start with. So there is technology trends, trends of evolution. I'm sorry, trends of evolution in the body of knowledge of trees. However, I would say that will give you what can happen. The what can be perhaps addressed using that. And again, the caution is spend enough time with the technology, understand how it works, then try and look at that part. So that would be the, so if you're in your parlance again, it's the advanced stuff. I wouldn't recommend to start there. If you know what is going to happen, you know from our course that you need to know when and where. So that's where the other parts, the 80% that Professor Dmitry was talking about comes in. The 80% is the when and where also needs to be factored in, and you need data to substantiate that and the logistic S-curves and all that comes in later on. So it's that by design, we have kept the, I mean, it turns out to be the body of knowledge is only 20% because of that reason, is that there's a lot more happening and you need to understand that part before getting onto that. And that's perhaps also getting to your advanced, quote unquote, advanced thing. So our recommendation is that you keep this enthusiasm alive of understanding technology. Use the contradiction model. And this is again from, I'm directly quoting Professor Dmitry here. He gave me the exercise of looking through patents and trying to identify what the contradictions are. This is its value. And then you will know that these are the problems that keep recurring. The more patents you read, you understand that this part of technology, this type of technology has these kind of problems. You become more and more aware. This becomes useful for your technology forecasting activity because you understand the technology very well from a problem solving standpoint, however, in the progression of time. So this is my 2 cents from what I've seen in the field and with TRIZ in mind.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bala. This is very complimentary.
Thank
Just in
you.
short, I'd like to add that what we are suggesting within this course, this is a quantitative method, but in technology forecasting with research in future, which is research in future, that is the method that I'm on my way to develop since 2004. Okay, we have the second part, mapping of contradictions. And mapping of contradictions is essentially based on the technique how to formulate contradictions. Okay, So if I take as example the course that I'm delivering in Politecnico di Milano, which is a 10 days course, 10 days, each day 7 hours. Okay, 4 days we are learning about quantitative methods, and 6 days we spent how to map contradictions, because the mapping of contradictions provide us the reliable answer about question what it will be. What? It is not enough just to apply some trends of evolution in order to be confident on the level of, because strategic decisions, they cost a lot for companies. So that's why we have to be reliable. Just to enlighten a bit what we deliver within this course, but what is behind. This is just tip of the iceberg, let's say like that you can see within this course. Thank you for listening.
Okay. I suppose you had a follow-up question as well, or oh, okay, this is okay. We're going to the next one.
Okay. Utsav is a sociology student and he is into research. He's specifically focusing on the adoption of generative AI in businesses and strategic planning. And he wants professor's guidance in the research methodology on the stated topic. Utsav here, would you want to elaborate on this query?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Utsav. I have had a course, namely Technology, Culture and Society. So where we learned technology as an artifact, how it develops over time, how society and social factors play in shaping of the technology. Right now, I'm looking for PhD positions both in sociology and in strategy management. So I'm focusing with, I'm thinking of one topic is generative AI is being adopted very fastly. There are startups who translates English to Hindi. There are startups mushrooming up in India. Another thing I'm looking for is how political consultancy is using data media. I'm very new to this field, so I'm wondering what questions I can look for in an organization, in a startup, how to gain entry into the field. Thank you.
Well, who is going to start, Bala?
Do you want to take it up first?
I can. Because the generative AI and large language model, this is some technology that I'm trying to understand what is it. And I'm really have a good opportunity because just behind me, there are some experts in this domain who are on the front line. And so that's why I'd like to just put a bit light. I'm not specialist in this, but I have some ideas. What is it? And in fact, first of all, what I do recommend you on your research trajectory, you need really to understand what is this technology? What are the pro and what are the con? I mean, what are the disadvantages of this technology? Because today we have a lot of advertising, a lot of companies, they put a lot of money in order to push it and to increase our needs in these technologies. And it looks fine, especially when you translate from one language to another one, because the body of knowledge of language does not change really. Okay, you have a very fixed rules and you have a very fixed dictionary. It is not the same issue when you try to put into analysis the technologies themselves, because this is a fast-moving environment. And one of the limitation of large language models and what people today name general AI, it is still too far to general AI. If we look to the publication, the recent publication, if we look to one of the limitation, it is not something which is factual. It does not provide you facts. What it does provide you as an answer, if you go to the ChatGPT, for instance, what do you receive as an answer for your query? This is what system extract from the corpus which was used to train it. Just to give you some idea what I'm talking about. If, for instance, if in the internet you put kind of fake news and it starts to be highly discussed because it is very popular one, thousands and millions of people start to discuss this news. In your large language model, it's appear as a right answer. And this is a risk. And this is a risk for the strategic management and to take decision. And this is a very high risk, and it is not imaginative. We already see such examples. The people who are making research, they alarm that, to translate, that's a good idea. For some knowledge that you can check the correctness of the answer, that's okay. But for some knowledge that you are looking fact, okay, you cannot rely on large language model, ni on AI today, because they are trained on the certain corpus, and how it is right or not depends on the corpus. What we suggest to you within the course, we suggest you that you will try to extract your own conclusion from the study of the system, from the study, which in fact, why it is more interesting, because final decision will be taken by human being. And the quality of decision depends how this decision will be educated. It doesn't matter what AI will answer to you, okay? Because if you are a failure, it will impact your career, especially if you are from sociology context. You need to find the way how to run your research and to make it not qualitative, but quantitative. This is my limited experience to work with students from sociology domain. They helpless about to quantify things, but as soon that this is not quantified, it's always just opinion. I do invite you to read the book Factfulness, for instance, in order to see how many misconceptions usually people have around the table. It doesn't matter. High-level politician, top the journalist, the high-level scientist, we have a lot of misconception in our mind. And these misconceptions, they arrive to the answer of today's large language models like ChatGPT and other things. This was my trial to put some light on your future research and to invite you to go and make research in some direction and quantify them. Bala, probably you can add something.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Generative AI is the trending topic definitely for now, and I don't see it. I see it only getting more popular. So you're going to get eyeballs on your PhD topic for sure. That's no doubt. However, what Professor Dmitry cautioned you, watch out for what kind of models were used, because one of the things that we insist on, even methods like technology forecasting or any other PhD topic you take up, is the repeatability. So how repeatable is any generative AI so if I give a prompt here in India, if Professor Dmitry gives the same prompt in France, is it going to be repeatable? Are you going to get the same kind of answers? Which is a big question to ask. And I don't know the answer to that. So these are very, very basic stuff, right? So in a repeatable, and one of the pillars of science is repeatability, right? So one needs to consider that for sure. That's for sure. But where large language models score very well is They are in. If I'm allowed to personify it, it's a great junior to us. So you can, if you treat them that way, because juniors do make mistakes, you need to guide them. You need to tell them what exactly needs to be done. If you go with that mindset and use it for that, then you're in a good shape. Than trusting the output or the results 100% without fact checking. So, and again, that's another thing that Professor Dmitry did mention. The book by Professor Hans Rosling, Factfulness, talks about how you should not trust something without numbers, but just don't go by numbers alone. So he gives both sides of the story. So the same caution to any PhD topic, particularly with generative AI, where it's a black box sitting somewhere, and just responding to your queries doesn't seem to be a thing that you should do without understanding it. So tying it back to our course, you should look at the function and what you need to predict in terms of the business climate itself. So look at it from that standpoint. What is it that the function of this particular black box called generative AI is? Unless you build it from scratch, you do not know the elements of that. That could be a possible area of study, saying what does the black box contain? If you can dismantle it, that can be set up that way also. But the methodology has to be airtight. So lots of words of caution, but it is going to be a trending topic for sure for time to come. And I think this is a good topic to take up. I would say don't take it. Take it with all the bells and whistles and the caution and caveats that we talked about, the pitfalls of trusting a large language model which is built by all the knowledge database all around. It's like trusting all the Mr. Ranil said, right? So when I went on Google and tried to find some information, I got all sorts of information. Go with the same amount of skepticism with that. That will make you a good researcher, in my opinion. This is my opinion, that if you go with the same skepticism, that is a very healthy one to have. And then you can look at it from that point of view. Okay, that's again my little attempt at answering this very, very interesting question. Hope that helps you. If not, let us know right here, or you can, of course, use the discussion forum if you already hung up.
Yes, it actually helped. I would definitely look into the books. The point you mentioned about the black box, the one way to unpack the black box would be, I think, I get permissions to go into startups and talk to the developers themselves. So how can I look into the black box of generative AI technology if I'm not aware how is it being developed? So how can I do research? Like how can I collect data? I would need to go into startups, businesses. So would that be the right direction to go, or what else would you please suggest?
To my mind, first of all, you need to understand weak point of technology, whatever technology you're talking about. This will be, in science, we are always skeptics. Be skeptical, okay? If somebody tell you, okay, generative AI will answer all your questions, try to be skeptical, try to understand what are the weak point of this. Because if, for instance, in the internet, you can see there is a quite interesting conclusion from one of the scientists who are working in the domain of large language model and so on. He just show what is the answer for the prompt couple in Paris, okay, image, and just look to these 3 different images. And it will give you some ideas how it is far from reality. And in order to take strategic decision, we have to be as close as possible to reality. So that's why Professor Bala told you about factfulness from Hans Rosling. And this is a good idea. You can go to the Gapminder, you can just run within 10 minutes, run a couple of tests, and you will see how your knowledge is far from the reality. I do it regularly, and I've never passed this kind of test from the first attempt. Especially about technology, sometimes it took 3 rounds, Looks strange. I'm working in this domain. This is my recommendation to your scientific way to make your research. Be skeptical always.
Just add a little bit more from what I understood from his question. I don't have access to this black box. How can I get somebody to make me understand what's going on? So if this is another scientific way, right? So if you don't know what it is, try to define what it is not. It could be a reverse way to do it. So that's how we study nature, right? We don't know everything that's going on inside. People study stars, which we can't even look at sometimes. People study things that we can't even see. I used to be an electron microscopist. Things are so hard to look at. And how do we still do it? We know the effects of these. From the effects, we find out and go with that skepticism hat, is what we're saying. You don't have to open up the black box to know every detail of that, but know that it is a black box. That's what we're saying. We're not saying you have to have access to the black box to know every model that went into it to build that large language model. It's impossible. I don't think even the creators of those large models, that people who have trained the large language model know how it exactly has come together, because it's a complex model. However, we do know the effects. We do know how to conduct experiments, and we are skeptical. So this is what we are saying, and that will help us as scientists more than trying to understand every bit and piece. If you can, that's great. If not, we have to go with what we have. With the conditions of the experiment. Again, this is based on our own experience. Thanks for that question. Very insightful.
All right.
Sham, anything else we have to? Yes, there is.
There was a related question. There are 2 questions like that.
Okay, nice.
Is it possible to use AI for decision making by Charan Kumar? And one more question: how to develop technology forecasting for strategic decision making in this new era, by Dr. Vivek.
We'll go one by one. I guess we'll start with the previous question. Yes. Do you want to take this up, Dmitry, first, or?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, I can start. All right. It's continuous in the same vein as the previous question, Utsav's question, is how much do I trust this AI? Can it be trustworthy enough that I can make decisions based on that? So in tech forecasting, primarily we focus on the actions that one could take based on our understanding of the technology itself. The decision making by the decision makers needs to be on factual information, on our own understanding, mining of data, all that needs to be there. Now, how much can you trust a machine to do all of that is definitely a question mark for me. Will you it's as good as asking the parrot on the street. I mean, it comes out and pulls out a card, and you're ready to trust that. How trustworthy are you on that parrot on the street? So Dmitry, I don't know if I've told you about this. There are some fortune tellers on the street who have these trained parrots, which will go and pick a card, and the man pretends that he can foretell the future. So that's what I'm referring to, in case you didn't get the reference. To me, AI is not a parrot on the street for sure. I'm not saying that it is the same. I'm saying that I do not know how it works. So in light of what we talked about in the previous question, we do not absolutely understand how it works. So for that, we need to understand what the technology is. We need to do the work. We need to do the analysis. We need to understand the data, the variables that go into it, and the prediction of that. the decision should, in my opinion, be with the decision makers, in that case, a human being, I suppose. You can take help from, like I said, you treat your generative AI, your AI as a junior who needs hand-holding. So you can use it to do very efficient work. However, you need to treat it as a junior. Again, this is my opinion on that subject. That's what I would say. So treat it as a junior. Make sure you understand, you and your team understand the nuts and bolts of the technology. You understand the veracity of the data. You understand how the data model works, and then take your decision, informed decision. You can use inputs from generative AI. You can use the to your advantage, but not wholly solely rely on that. That would be my opinion on this. Dmitry, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Bala. In fact, the models, large language models, and what do we have from artificial intelligence is really useful. But for what? I started my journey with artificial intelligence years ago in 1989. We developed invention machine, which was based on the body of knowledge from trees, and we supposed to build the software which support inventor on their way to solve problems and to invent something. Okay, and we did succeed. The software was developed, was implemented, and the company was even sold in the United States somehow in 2006, it becomes part of another big American software development company. But there is a but. To what we are going to use generative AI as it is today. In this case, I'd like to share my screen to show you some picture, and the best is to see once, then to okay, where is it? No. Okay, where is my app? Just a second. I need to put this picture available. Why I cannot share this app? Okay. In this case, I would like to present you the output, graphical output of. Yeah, can you see my screen? Just a second.
I can't see it yet.
No, stop sharing. Because I did it not properly. It takes time. Okay, let me try once again to share advanced. Okay, camera, computer, audio, apps. Yeah, in apps. Okay. I see that I have some limitation for sharing my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. If there is a limitation, we can. Let me share the entire screen. Okay.
Yeah, we can
Can
see.
you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, what we can see on the screen, we have results from Midjourney. This is one of the most advanced AI tool to generate some picture, and we have a different prompt. You see, the prompt is really slightly different. A couple French from Paris, okay, and it is done even in French language, okay. This is from suburb, and this is from the low level, okay, part of the city. And if you show this picture, can you see these results?
Yes, we can see it.
And if you show this picture to people on the street in Paris, they will be completely confused, because those picture has nothing with reality. It has nothing with reality. Even for people who have never visited Paris, who have never seen French people, French couple, okay, it looks like sounds relevant. Okay, This is what I'm talking about, the danger to apply output of generative AI for strategic decision making. It looks like real, but it has nothing with reality, because the real situation will be confused if you will present it like that. The core of our course, once again, the technology, they're very useful. When I scan documents to PDF, I recognize the text. I'm really happy with this because I can find, this is also artificial intelligence, character recognition. When I recognize my speech with voice recognition, very useful to advance with my papers. When I use the automatic translation of, even I'm not native English speaker, so when I prepare my letter, I try to improve it with a DeepL technology, for instance, not with Google Translate, but with a DeepL technology. And it is really useful to improve my communication. But be always on the control. How do you use technology? You need to understand its limitation before using it. Technology is not solution until you understand the problem. This is what we try to present you within this course. Define your system, define your function, understand your problem before running logistic substitution model. Because the advanced users of logistic substitution model, they do this, like Professor Theodore Modis, like Professor Marchetti, and like many others around the globe who use those tools to forecast reliably. They define the system and they define the problems because they are scientists. Because they are scientists with very high background. So they already learned this, and we are trying to teach you to be prepared. AI, it's just a technology. One more technology in our resources. Thank you for being patient with our quite long explanation.
Shyam, do you want to ask the next question? How to develop technology forecasting for strategic decision making in this new era? Okay, Dr. Vivek is very cryptic in the question. I guess in this new era refers to the generative AI kind of era. That's what I'm going to interpret the question as. How can you develop this kind of decision making in when you're just any answer is just a prompt away. All the answers that I don't mind repeating many of the things that we just mentioned. One, understand the system. So you need to know what the function of the system is. New era, old era, future era, the technology is meant for a purpose, and you need to understand the purpose. This is the first step that we even talk about in the course. So that's the what. You need to identify where is it going to be used for sure. Humans are not all concentrated in one place. They have their different lives in different places. So you need to identify where is it that we're talking about, and when are we talking about. So those three things have to be there to start off with. Doesn't matter, again, like I said, old era, new era, future era, doesn't matter at all. Technology is meant for a purpose, and you need to understand it and need to use data for our purpose. So if it is a new era and things that you don't understand, we need to put it down as to what this function does, what is the variable that we're looking at, and then make our prediction or make our forecast based on that. Make our forecast based on the data that you pick. We call it logistic ESCA. We have different models to do that modeling, but we understand it. We just don't jump into the model straight away. or the result straight away, but we try to understand it first. And there you can use, so the new era, I'm referring to generative AI, there we can use it to our advantage. If you have lots of data to analyze, we can sum it up. Again, apply the same caution, the same skepticism that you applied to in the first place, and then move on to the next steps. So the steps are identical, the methodology is identical, the mindset is identical, no matter the era, is my contention. So over to you, Dmitry.
Yeah, what I'd like to suggest is not in contradiction with what Professor Bala said, but I'd like to invite you to think about economy. If you look to the economy, okay, the main task of economy is how to satisfy needs of people, which is unlimited needs of people with limited resources. This is a main question, whatever country we take, whatever in an international context. This is a main question of economy. And the technology play in this answer for this question a critical role. This is a resource. How? What to satisfy for whom? This is also a question, but the technology forecast try to answer for the question how we are going to answer this question in the future. And it is not only the question of growing population, not at all. Because if you are using smartphone, yes, today you use it mostly to communicate over the phone, some, chart, that's it. Today you are using it as a terminal to access to the internet. This is what I mean, growing demand. And demand will be always unlimited. So the context has not been changed since 10,000 plus years, because 10,000 years ago, we also tried to satisfy demand, unlimited demand, with limited resources, size of the land, resources, mineral resources, time resources also. So if you are talking about new era, let us try to see what is new. And usually new, this is available resources. We have advanced transportation system, we have advanced communication system, and so on. But what, as Professor Bala said, let's define the function, what we need. And technology forecasting is to have good ideas about future, reliable ideas, not just what can happen, but what will happen. Because if you just have 10 ideas about what can happen or what might happen, okay, it's like weather forecast. What will be tomorrow? It can be rainy, it can be windy, it can be sunny. So how can you decide what are you going to wear? You need to know, will it be windy and rainy, and how strong? This is, so technology forecasting in new era, the methodology essentially is the same. What we can apply in other models and other tools. This is what we are trying to learn in order to advance together. Okay, this was my point of view to this question. Is it good enough, our answer, or are you still confused? Dr. Vivek, please.
Okay.
Is it good for you?
Dr. Vivek here.
Don't see that name on our participant list.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Let's go to the next question.
There's one question from Bharat Soni, and I think he's in this call. He's asking, what can be appropriate forecast methodology related to agriculture, specific to the modern agricultural technology like aquaponics and aeroponics? So if Bharat, would you want to elaborate on this question? Please.
We have to
go
be
ahead.
really short because we are running out of the time limitation. Okay, I'd like to be short with this question. What we try to teach you is relevant and very useful for your domain, agriculture. We, since the time that I'm running my course, starting from 2015 at Polytechnic in Milan, we already had at least 6 projects about agriculture technology also. So what you can learn within this course is really relevant. We invite you to put your efforts to understand and to use it. This, if I try to be short. And for the other questions that we received, thank you very much. We're supposed to answer, we're supposed to start our next live session with answering the question that we unfortunately have no opportunity and time to answer today.
Perfect. Makes a lot of sense. I think we can take that question as the first question of our next live session, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So if I'm not wrong, it's on February 16th.
Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Shyam or Professor Dmitry. February 16th.
To me, it's also February 16th.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Oh, wow. So it's 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, February 16th. We'll start with the unanswered question. If you have more questions, please don't hesitate to use the discussion forum or the forms that will be distributed to you, via email, and we will be happy to answer those as well. So this will be in a couple of weeks' time, 2 weeks' time from today. See you. Thank you so much, Professor Dmitry and Shyam, for making this. Thanks to the NPTEL team for making sure everything runs smoothly. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
day.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you again.